A Black executive perspective now presents Need to Know with the award-winning hyphenated Dr. Nsenga Burton. Dr. Burton, what do we need to know?
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Nsenga Burton, and I am with you on Need to Know, featuring me. Today I want to talk about the Super Bowl, which was amazing. This halftime performance. I used to be a big sports fan, and then I stopped supporting the NFL and many other sports associations because of their problematic stances on things that are important to me, like the upliftment of Black people, particularly when 70% of your workforce is African American or people of African descent. And so I really didn't like what they did to Colin Kaepernick. And I also didn't like that they pulled out of the CTE study that was part of an institute that was founded by a former NFL player who attended Harvard University. So I wasn't really with the anti-intellectual piece of it. I really wasn't with the piece of not participating in a study that could help future football players, particularly with those, many of whom are suffering from CTE, the effects of CTE, dying prematurely, and having a real rough go of it. And as you all know, the NFL players are not guaranteed health care throughout the remainder of their lives. So I stopped supporting the NFL, and I was a big sports fan. Grew up, Monday night football, Thursday night, Sunday night football. And then, and so I say that to say, I just want to let you know that's how big of a fan I was and how I had stopped supporting it. But of course, because of Bad Bunny doing the halftime show, I decided to return. And last year I did watch Kendrick Lamar's halftime show, which I thought was brilliant. So I wanted to see this year's halftime show, which I also thought was brilliant. But that's another take. But what I want to talk to you about today is that during this year's halftime show, the people who we will call the Minions of 47 decided that they were going to do an alternative performance. Now, headlined by Kid Rock, of all people. Now, Kid Rock, as you all know, got his start really in hip hop. He is from Detroit. He is from a very wealthy family from Detroit. And he was cosplaying as someone who was pro-Black to the tune of actually having a child with a Black woman when he was in Detroit and pursuing his rap rock career. So Kid Rock was a beloved figure in his heyday and aligned himself with Black people through not only our culture and music, also through his lifestyle choices, and also by saying, he's from the Detroit, one of the Blackest cities on earth, and also one of the most creative and innovative places on earth, legitimately. So and it's not recent, his embrace of probably what he always was when he decided to stop cosplaying as someone who was Black aligned, has been that aligning himself with white supremacist rhetoric, Christian white nationalists, and all of the things. Anybody who knows anything about Kid Rock, Freudian slip, I'm sorry. Kid Rock is that he does not reflect any of those things in terms of the values or the morals in his private life. I say that to say, apparently his performance was horrible. I did watch it. He seemed like he had a tough time keeping up. He could not remember his lyrics. He lip synced. It was pretty bad. And I was actually surprised because Kid Rock is actually a very good performer and he's actually quite talented. So I thought he would give it do something really amazing and, make it a good performance. And it was terrible. So what I need you to know is when you have bad intentions, things go poorly for you. I also need you to know that Black folks have suffered through a horrible halftime show. Like I said, I was a big sports fan. I won't name names because I try not to be mean unnecessarily. But we suffered through many a Super Bowl halftime show that was horrible, to say the least. Boring, to say the least. people who had not had hits, right? They're considered legends, but had not had hits in multiple decades. People who are like really boring to watch because, things have changed in terms of performance. People have, legends, like real performers. Because I still think Prince's performance is the best NFL Super Bowl halftime performance of all time. I believe that. I think Michael Jackson is also a great one. Usher had a great one. Beyonce. I mean, we could keep going. Bruno Mars, I thought was great. And then we've had some very boring people who were not so great. But we never once said, let's program an alternative Super Bowl, because I can't stand the sight of, or I can't look at Bad Bunny, right? Latinx population or Black people. I'm tired of seeing that on stage. And then Kid Rock had the bad manners to blame Jay-Z for his failure and called him the ultimate DEI hire. Now, I have some challenges with Jay-Z as a human being. But Jay-Z as a business person and as a creative is unmatched. He just is. I'm really upset with him about joining with the NFL, particularly on the heels of Cap, or what happened to Kaepernick. I just don't appreciate it at all. However, I don't know what's going on with society where people can't have these kind of negotiated relationships with things, right? So I understand that Jay-Z, some of the things that he does is problematic, but I also understand that he is a genius in very, very many ways. He's a creative. He's an innovator. He does a lot of interesting artistic things. He's a curator of experiences like the Super Bowl halftime. So there's no way, shape, or form you can say that somebody gave him something so that he could have this Super Bowl opportunity. It's good business to hire Jay-Z. And then, really, this is another piece. The fact that people don't even know what DEI means and who benefits the most, which is white women who have benefited the most. White men benefited a lot. Veterans, many of whom are white men, and white women benefited a lot. So DEI doesn't just mean Black people. It doesn't just mean brown people. It means people who have been historically disenfranchised and kept out of industries, including the NFL, for many years. I mean, look at the Black coaches situation. 16 openings, no hires. All right. So, and even with the Rooney Rule in place, this type of outcome, and it's a measurable outcome, lets you know what time it is with the NFL, which is why I don't support them anymore and I don't watch. But because I teach media, I can't not watch the Super Bowl, and I can't not watch the halftime show because I have to teach my students, right? So the point I'm making is Kid Rock is a symbol of mediocre whiteness. And before that, I think he superseded it. Like, he was actually quite engaging. He was quite talented, and he's made some great songs. But having said that, his performance at the alternative Super Bowl, and I say alternative because that's just another way of saying people who hate Black and brown people. But, the racist Super Bowl performance, the Super Bowl for the white supremacists and the Christian white nationalists who have aligned themselves with the white supremacists, was awful. You did not show up. Your performance was terrible. I've seen him in concert. He was excellent. This is years ago. Your performance was horrible. You were mediocre in that moment. And so don't blame Jay-Z, because he is the antithesis of what you say the DEI hire is. He understands the assignment and he gets it done. And not only does he get it done, but he overproduces. He overaccomplishes. And that's what Black people do. That's what we do. That's what we're trained to do. Black Americans are trained to do that. You have to be twice as good. And now it's like 3-4 times as good in order to get half as far. We know this. All right. This is why people hire us. All of the data from DEI said that the more people of color, the more diversity you have, the more people with accessibility challenges, the more veterans you have, the more people that you give an opportunity to who were previously not. And veterans weren't barred, but because their skills were not defined as transferable. Like, the whole term transferable skills comes from admitting veterans into the workforce and looking at what they did in the military and transferring those skills, right? What those skills were transferable so that they were hireable in industries. Because before they were discriminated against, like, oh, you've been in the military. That's a completely different ball of wax. We need someone who's been in this space. All right. So I say all of that to say, when Kid Rock and others like him talk about being patriots and we support the veterans, you don't support the veterans if you're against DEI. You don't support the veterans when many of them have lost their jobs since 47 came into office and slashed their jobs and destroyed the government because many of them were government workers. They work for the government. That's how they maintain their middle class status and their ability to provide for their families. All right. So when you call Jay-Z a DEI hire, we're going to flip that as Black people do, and we're going to take that as a compliment. Because yes, that means yes, despite being barred from participation, once I was let in, I kicked the door down. All of the data supports this. You make more money when you have diverse workforces. You have more innovation when you have diverse workforces. You have more inventions when you have diverse workforces. You have more harmony in the workplace when you have diverse workforces. All of those things are at play. And we saw that with the halftime show at the Super Bowl. As problematic as the NFL is and its relationship to people of color, as problematic as it is, we saw all of those things on full display versus Turning Point, which just looked like a sad bunch of crybabies. So yeah, when you align yourself and you're on the wrong side of history, bad things happen, like really, really terrible performances, because now you have reduced yourself and you are surrounding yourself by people who don't think they need standards. They just think that their whiteness will get them whatever they want and they should have whatever they want because they have white skin. That is the most mediocre argument you can have and the antithesis to success that you can have. It hasn't worked anywhere in the world. Anywhere. And not for long term. Look at all of the economic devastation that is happening all over Europe right now. Okay? So what you need to know is you can stop blaming Black people and brown people for your failures. Even when you separate from us, you turn away. My eyes can't even stand the sight of you. We got to have an alternative performance. Okay. We had nothing to do with that. So you failed. You had all the resources in the world. You had the most powerful people on the planet backing you, supporting you, saying this is going to be amazing. You got all the money in the world behind you. And it was a horrible performance. You failed. But in true American tradition, when white people fail, or they don't rise to the occasion, or they don't capitalize on all of the privileges, access, and opportunities that they have, is because some Black person did something. Jay-Z is why my performance was horrible. No, your performance is horrible because you're a horrible person and it was horrible. Like you suck. You're a terrible individual. You probably need to go back and hang out with some Black people so you can get some whatever you were getting when you were pimping the hood, when you were cosplaying as someone who loved and liked Black people and Black culture because you're from the D. Remember that, because you're from the D. All right. So tune in next week to Need to Know with Dr. Nsenga Burton. That's me, she. And make sure you also tune in to a Black Executive Perspective podcast, the award-winning podcast with Tony and Chris, who are always bringing thoughtful and intentional conversations that tackle tough issues in a very difficult climate and a time of uncertainty. So make sure you tune in next week for both of those things. Have a wonderful day. Stay focused, stay informed, and stay on the right side of history so you don't have to blame other people for your failures.
A Black Executive Perspective.